Only on News 8 tonight, a North Texas family says the state prison system is hiding the truth about the death of their loved one. Curtis Garland of Dallas died behind bars last year following an asthma attack. But fellow inmates at the George Beto unit are telling a disturbing story of a man who agonized for hours while begging for his life. Brett Shipp has more as News 8 investigates.
When Curtis Garland Jr. was sentenced to 12 years in prison in 2012 for family violence, he was prepared to do his time. But as a severe asthmatic surviving in the unair-conditioned Beto unit in humid East Texas, Garland would require constant breathing treatments and medical attention. On June 10th of last year, Garland's asthma flared up. He was taken to the prison clinic where he was given a breathing treatment and released. 2 weeks later, on June 23rd, another severe attack. Garland's breathing got progressively worse, and by 10:35 that night, according to his autopsy, advanced cardiac life support measures were initiated on Garland. He was transferred to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Garland's mother got the news over the phone from the prison chaplain.
He said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you that your son is deceased." And I couldn't hear anything else because the phone just went haywire. It was like, no, no, no.
Dealing with the grief was hard enough. She says trying to get details about her son's death was even harder.
No.
She didn't?
No, we never talked to the
wouldn't
warden.
talk.
No.
Just the chaplain.
I am so sorry for your loss.
But in the weeks that followed, mail began arriving at the family home. Letters from inmates, one after the other, telling a story that stunned the family and friends.
This is my statement concerning the death of Curtis Garland.
He was denied medical treatment.
Curtis looked at me and he said, "Help me," 3 times.
All of them alleging Curtis Garland Jr. died a horrible death spanning the course of 6 hours. According to one inmate, at approximately 4:20 p.m., I spoke with an officer and told him that Garland couldn't breathe and needed to go to the infirmary. The inmate says he never called. At 9 p.m., another inmate said, "I noticed Curtis was having a hard time breathing. I told him he needed to get to the infirmary as soon as possible. Curtis told me that the nurse refused to see and treat him." 10:30 p.m., still another inmate writes, "I heard someone yell that Curtis needed help and fast. The officer said it can wait." Everyone involved was screaming and desperately begging the hallway officer to open the gate. And now, for the first time, a more vivid and chilling account. Former inmate Marcello Faulkner, who was with Garland as he died, recalls the final moments.
And I laid him there. I said, "Man, you need your asthma inhaler?" He said, he couldn't breathe, man. And then he just turned purple all over.
Faulkner says while the guards were telling him to get away, Garland was dying in his arms.
He said, "Cello, I'm gonna die, man." And I said, "Man, I don't know what to do because it's a side of me was telling me to take him, but I didn't want to get in trouble."
Haunting testimony that changes everything about what the family was willing to accept, the first real accounting for Curtis's death.
As many asthma attacks as he has had, I said, well, good Lord was tired of him suffering. But I did not know that they made him suffer. You see, they made him suffer, and they didn't have to. They didn't have to do it.
I thank God for the young men that took out time to write these letters.
Corey Sessions with the Innocence Project of Texas shares the family's pain. His brother Tim, who was wrongly convicted and later exonerated, but only after he too died in prison of an asthma attack.
The state has a duty to prosecute, but it doesn't have a duty to persecute. This young man was persecuted in prison.
by being denied his medication.
And that denial of medication is why the family has filed a federal lawsuit against the warden, his staff, and the state of Texas. Prison officials have declined to answer questions, saying it's their policy not to comment on pending litigation, nor will they talk about whether Garland's death was investigated. Faulkner says an investigation is warranted, especially because he believes the truth has been covered up.
And he laid there, he died in the hallway. And they try to say then, oh no, he died at the hospital. No, y'all killed this man.
Garland's family is also requesting a full investigation. They feel Curtis was paying his debt to society. His penalty was 12 years, not death.
I understand that they are criminals. I understand that they did a crime. But I don't understand you playing God. I don't. I do not.
The incident was so disturbing, 44 inmates signed a petition calling for an investigation, willing to testify, willing to risk retribution so the truth about Garland's death would come out. Again, Texas prison officials have yet to respond. Brett Shipp, Channel 8 News.